Does anyone remember some of the things we talked about in regards to ruining our life? Yes, those were the two things actually, right there. Over accumulating, and that can include overeating, to wanting to taste and indulge in so many different ways in life. We're so many different ways trying to indulge in life. But actually, instead of making us happy, which is the thing that we think it's going to do, it actually causes us all kinds of distress instead. A good example is I used to have weight issues in my life. When I was younger, I had weight issues. But, when you taste food, it's so good, right? When we eat prasadam, it tastes so nice. But, ultimately, when you just succumb to, all right, well, this feels really good. I'm going to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And I found myself, I was carrying extra burdens on my body that were, they were materialistic goals at the time, but they were causing me distress, especially in the regards, this is when I was a young man and I was very attracted to having a lady in my life. Now, I have a lady in my life, but I had to also learn the art of actually courting a lady, which is not, that's a science actually. It's not a whimsical endeavor. But anyhow, one of the things is I had to control myself. I couldn't just indulge, indulge, indulge. And there's many ways that indulgence can come. And we're not just talking about in proper dealings in relationships. We're talking about in all aspects of life. But ultimately, we're talking about your happiness. How can you actually be happy? And what did we mention? We talked about this in Bhagavad Gita not that long ago. What actually brings people happiness? What's that? You speak loud. Looking within, but and through what process? Yes, yes, but even before bhakti. Yes, the process of yoga. And what does yoga entail? What do you need to do? You have to regulate, you have to control yourself. If you don't control your senses, the body is compared to a great chariot, and the senses are like the horses, and the mind is like the reins, and the intellect is the one holding the reins, and the poor soul is in the back just along for the ride. And when it watches the senses run crazy and the mind and the intellect can't rein them in, and it just does anything and everything that it wants, the poor soul is just on for some monotonous ride as the horses, the senses are pulling every which direction. So we have to learn to control ourselves. We have to learn to control our faculties. We've got this chariot. We've got these senses. Are we controlling the senses? Are we controlling the mind? Are we, controlling? Is the intellect guided properly? What is guiding the intellect? We were talking about, there's some very nice verse. Let's see if I can remember it. Me and Tanmay were memorizing this verse the other day at the Indian side. No, it's Tesham, uh, Tesham Evanukam Pasya, yes. But mainly I'm on the spot now, and we're not going to be able to do it right now. But the essence of the verse is this, that uh, by the darkness of ignorance we've been covered, but ultimately the Lord will reveal through the torchlight of knowledge how to overcome this ignorance. And by our ignorance, we are not controlling our chariot. It's just on a crazy ride right now. But through the torchlight of knowledge, the intellect, what is it? Jnana Dipena Bhashvata. Yes, the Paramatma from within. The Lord will enlighten you from within and guide your intellect on where to go. So this is ultimately what we're looking for. But in order to do that, we have to engage our intellect in something higher. We can't just, all only rely on within, because right now our within is covered and muddled. And so when we try to be intuitive at this point, it's covered over by all kinds of our ignorance, actually. But when we take, there's three pillars to our enlightenment. What are the three pillars? What is this glowing torchlight of knowledge that is going to illuminate us in our lives. Two S's and a G. Yes. Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. The number one, the most important is Shastra. What are the messages of Krishna? What are the messages of the great devotees of Krishna, the Mahajans? You know, this is what the Bhagavatam is filled with. This is what the Bhagavad Gita. This is the foundation. Then, who are the people who are actually putting it in place? Who are those people who are living this, experiencing this, seeing this? What are they called? Yes, but let's say the sadhus. And then ultimately, the guru is one who has actually come for you to instruct you. You know, when you get so fortunate, a guru will be placed before you. And they come in all different forms, all different levels. We all began this world. We see Priti and Niranjan, our gurus back there, to little Mihir. Yes, he's a little bhakta. He's been doing this for many lifetimes, actually. So he's come to continue his work. So, but we come across many gurus in our life, but at some point, hopefully we come across one who can take us to the next level and the next level. And then the more fortunate we get and the more blessed we get in this endeavor, really by the devotional mercy coming through Krishna, Sadhu, and Guru. And it's all being facilitated by the Shastra. Then we'll really get somewhere and we'll really have something that we can hold. But these are the things that makes us insincere and not able to even approach Shastra, not able to appreciate sadhus, and not able to approach a guru. These are the things that will block you. So we talked about two of them. Our devotional service is spoiled, and our devotional service is everything. This is the ultimate conclusion of life given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. It's spoiled when one becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. And if you remember, the verse before this was all about controlling our senses. If we don't control our senses, there's no chance even that we can even take this. We won't even listen. We'll be too busy eating or chasing a lady or a man or whatever things that we're chasing in this world. But ultimately, when we control ourselves and say, you know what, I want to give the spiritual attempt here, then we can go through some processes. And that's what we're doing right now. Every one of you is in the process of controlling your senses and taking your spiritual life seriously. Or you wouldn't come. You wouldn't come and sit, or you just be like, all right, I'm going to come late, and just when they do the prasad, I'll be there for that. But you've come to hear something. So take a good opportunity. And it's my job to present something proper. And these are, this is the Upadesha Amrita. Amrita is nectar. Who likes nectar? Everyone likes nectar. Nectar is the juice, the wonderful tastiness, the essence of all things. And Upadesh is what? Instructions. That's why Prabhupada has labeled this book in English the Nectar of Instruction. Yes. So this is the Upadesha Amrita by Rupa Goswami. And so, wow, Mihir is so good. I hope my son is this good and he likes to hear Harikatha. So we'll see. I don't know. Mihir has very pious parents. I don't know what my son is going to have. But we'll see. So, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. This is something that will spoil your devotional service. And why they all connect to each other. Because they'll lead to this one, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. If has anyone ever has chased something in the world, you got to work like a dog for these things. You have to work. Prabhupada uses the word ass. The ass is a donkey. I'm sorry, Nikki, the children in the room. But this is a British term for a donkey. And what do they do with the donkey? They put a carrot in front of the donkey's head and they say, chase the carrot, donkey. But hold on, we've got something. And then they load and load burdens and burdens and burdens and burdens and burdens. In India, do you know what profession really uses the donkey? They really this is their... What's that? Yes, did you say Dola? No. I don't know. What is the washerman called? What's that? Dhobi. Yes, the washerman, he loads clothes and clothes and clothes. He's got everyone in the village's clothes and clothes and clothes and clothes. And it's on the donkey's back stacked up. And the donkey is just working like anything, sweating, everything, you know. And why? Chasing a carrot. At the end of the day, the donkey gets its carrot, and then the man is like, okay, thank you for carrying my burden for me. So this is actually what we do. We chase some mundane thing, some carrot. We take on so much burden and so much burden and so much burden. Why? Does it give us happiness? Who here likes to really work, 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 work? It can feel good if there's a good goal, but ultimately, if your goal is mundane, meaning it's temporary, you can never be satisfied doing like this. So, but the culture, the conditioning is so strong. I have to work for my goals. What do we have faith in? Karma, karma, karma. I work hard and I get my results. Even though bhakti is a completely different system, where you just give yourself to the Lord and everything that's needed and more comes. The Christians know this. The Christians know bhakti. Yes, what do they say? Do they say, seek ye first the fruits of your rewards? What do they say then? And then what happens? Yeah, and all other things shall be added unto you. So the Christians know this teaching. And Krishna says the same thing. Sarva dharman parityajya, mam ekam sharanam vraja. What's that mean? All dharma, abandon it. Get rid of all of this worldly religion, all these worldly duties, and just surrender unto me. And then he says, I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. You don't have to worry about any type of reactions. It's not that you're not going to, oh, I'm not going to, I didn't work hard in this endeavor, I won't get the result. I've been seeing this in my bhakti life, and I have to be careful not to get attached to this luxury. But when you devote yourself to Krishna, things that it doesn't usually make sense. It's not usually how karma works. I didn't work so hard in this way. I don't get how this thing is coming to me, but it'll come to you. But that's not why you should do it. You should ultimately do it because the verse before that in Bhagavad Gita, Man mana bhava mad bhakto, meaning always think of me and become my devotee. Madhyaji mam namaskuru, you know, offer your homage and your worship, your sacrifices unto me, and thus you shall come to me, because you are very dear to me. So, but at the very least, even if you at least offer your obeisances to the Lord daily. That's why we do arti. Arti is a form of offering ourselves to the Lord. All of the items on the plate that Michael is offering, or whoever the pujari is offering, it represents a certain element of our physical vehicle that we're offering to the Lord. So we begin to actually know these things. Like we offer a deep, it's a little lamp, a little fire. Fire is what? What in the body? What's that? Heat, yes. What's the other quality of fire? Yes, yes. But what is light? Heat and light. Fire illuminates. Actually, any type of vision that you have, the ability to see, is your body's ability to process light, right? Is it not? Yes. It's able to take in light, and you have all these rods and cones and all the things the material scientists like to emphasize, and that makes your process so important. But actually, when we're offering the lamp, we're offering our vision. Like it said, the gopis also used to do arati of Krishna, but they weren't doing arati with the lamps. They were doing the arati with the eyes, the body's natural lamp. So all of the things we do in arti, it has a deeper meaning even. All the things actually, the Vedic understanding, there's layers. But anyhow, we must hurry. Uh, so today, so over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. So when we spend our time trying to indulge in more than necessary, we'll spend even more time trying to endeavor to acquire those things. If you need to eat, I don't know, 10 kilograms of rice a week, you'll have to endeavor to get that rice. What if 10 kilograms doesn't appear to you, right? Like, let's say you develop some habit. Oh, I need to take I don't know, 3 crack rocks a week or something like that, worth like $1,000. I have to work, to get these things. How, what am I gonna do? Even sometimes you see the unfortunate homeless people or people who are addicted to these drugs. They approach you on the street and they're trying to work and support their habits that they've had. But we know this is not good. This is not proper happiness. So you see, what is your cracker rock in your life? What is it? What is your 10 kilograms of rice or your exotic, arrangements you make for yourself? So we have to acknowledge. And where are we over endeavoring? You'll find we may be over endeavoring in many arrangements, wasting more and more time. We only have so much time. The human form of life is so rare. It shouldn't be wait till the end. Oh, I'll do the spiritual thing at the end of my life. No, if you have this, what you do at the end of the life is the result of what you've always done in this life. You won't be able to they say you can't teach old dogs what? New tricks. So when you just do all your old tricks throughout your whole life, oh, now at the end you're going to learn a bunch of new tricks? No, it's not. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So you have to take the tricks now. Learn your new tricks now. These are the tricks. These are the bad things you should do. These are the things you should avoid. Like when you train a dog, you say, no, this is their little pat on the nose if they're very bad. So these are the pats on the nose. You stay away from this. You stay away from that. And then you'll learn the new tricks as the verses progress. So let's actually get through this. Okay. The ones we're going to focus on today, maybe 3 and 4, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. We do this constantly. We get together with family, then we get together with relatives, we get together with coworkers, with friends, and we just talk about anything and everything, right? They talk about this or the weather. How many conversations can you have about the weather? Especially, a lot of times I'm forced, like say I'm with like in-laws or something like this, and I'm forced to like try and make small talk because they don't want to talk about what I want to talk about. I want to talk about like Christian consciousness. I want to talk about, deeper truths and things, but that's not for everyone, right? So, you have to figure out how many different ways can I talk about the weather. But like it's a waste of time. Again, it's wasting your valuable time. And then practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following him and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. And the other side of that, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. These are both not good. A lot of times you can get into the Vedas. Well, it says this here and it says this here. It says this here, especially when you're enthusiastic, you're getting into these things and you become like a rule Nazi. And you say, yes, like this and put your hands up now and do this and bow now and like this. But if you don't know why you're doing these things, if you don't actually know what the purpose of these things are, they shouldn't be so heavily emphasized. The essence, the juice of why you do these things should be emphasized. Now, on the flip side of that, you can't just think, oh, well, yeah, it's not about rules and regulations and things like that. I'll just do whatever my heart feels. No. When you drive, do you say, oh, the rules of the road, no problem. Red lights? Who needs red lights? No, you don't do like that. Who drives like that? These two are in driving courses together. Peter's teaching Tanmai how to drive. Peter, if Tanmai took that approach, how much longer would you train him? No, you get out of my car. I'm paying insurance. You're going to screw up everything. This is actually what we're doing in our spiritual life too. We can't just whimsically, oh, the Vedas say so many things. Oh, just neglect it. But at the same time, we can't be saying like, oh my God, like when you're driving on the road and then the person, if there's nobody around and the person's at the stop sign, S-T-O-P, and then they go. Unnecessary. You're wasting your time. Just like, okay, all right. And then go. Once you know the rules, you know how to properly break them or how to probably ease through them. The rules help set a proper foundation so that everyone can, drive their vehicle through this material world nicely. But at the same time, if you just completely are chaotic and no, I don't need any rules. Oh, you'll no guardrails for you. And then you'll go flying off the cliff. That's not good either. So this is this next thing, niyamagraha. So let's see where we ended on we were just getting into Prajalpa. So we ended here. The real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. If our endeavor, our prayas, is not to inquire about the absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. What type of needs? Artificial, meaning things that aren't necessary. We just do so many things that just are not necessary. Is it not? A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor. Another impediment is prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking, sounding like just like croaking toads. If we must, if we must talk, we should talk about the Krishna consciousness movement. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading heaps of newspapers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles, and doing many other nonsensical things. I guess he must have noticed that, in his sojourn of America, crossword puzzles. Um, in this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. What's valuable? Yeah. Even the business guys, they know this. They say time is what? For them, time is money. But actually, your time is so valuable. Time is spiritual advancement for you. For those whose wealth is spiritual advancement, that's your time. And if you're just wasting your time, man, you're wasting your energy. You're wasting your greatest treasure. Your greatest treasure is your time. And how do we spend our time? We spend our time in so many mundane things, unfortunately, right? Even today, lately I've just had so many. It's like the end of an astrological period called Sarasati for me. I have like 3 days left, 4 days, and it's a brutal period, but it's all coming to a crash at the end, and it's known to do that. And I'm just seeing as like, okay, this thing's coming, this thing's coming. How am I going to balance all these things? But at some point in the day, I have to just say like, you know what? I got to leave this to the side. I got to put this to the side. I'm losing track of what's really the most essential thing of my life. I'll deal with that tomorrow. Yes, it's an issue. It has to be resolved eventually, but let me deal with that tomorrow. Because what is the most essential, valuable thing is our spiritual life, our spiritual sadhana, our spiritual progress. That's why the devotees, we get regulated. Every day we make a vow, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do for Krishna. And everyone's vow will increase and change as they get stronger in their spiritual life. So Prabhupada, he said, right, what were the basics for an initiated devotee? Yeah, 16 rounds and the four regulative principles. And he also wanted you to read his books. That was Srila Prabhupada's initiated devotee standard. Now, I know some devotees who say, well, that's all you need to do. And you're going back to Godhead. And they kind of take like, all right, I did the basics. But the basics, amazing. Just to do those basics, that's an amazing foundation. But you could do more. The reason these things are given is because they actually are giving a great reward. And if you want even more reward, if you're a little greedy for a spiritual, it's good to be greedy for a spiritual life. That's the one thing in life it's good to be greedy for. Anything mundane, don't be greedy. But actually, greed is said to be the only currency by which one can actually very intimately serve Krishna. And this is the path of Raga Nuga Bhakti. This is mentioned in Nectar of Devotion. But the only way to really take Krishna is have greed for him. That's what he's attracted to. He's not so attracted to how well you followed all the rules or what number, that's the next thing. Or how many fasts you did, or this, that, and he is really attracted to how greedy are you for him. What are you willing to throw away? The gopis, for instance, they threw away everything. Everything. Krishna even says, he says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatamam prapadyante, tam stataiva bhajamyaham. What's it mean? Preeti, you're nodding. That's why I love uh, Indians are so pious, or many of them, at least the Indians who come here, they're so pious. So they just are always here and they're like, yes, I need this in my life. And I'm so happy. Um, I wish Western people were as easy to get on that. But yea yatamam prapadyante, what's it mean? As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. But actually, there comes a point, like what the gopis did. They were willing to give up every other thing, and Krishna actually can't even meet that reward. Why? Why can't he meet that reward? Because Krishna is actually the God for everybody. So the gopis can give everything up, any other relationship for God, but he can't give up every other relationship for just one. So actually, and this is a very esoteric high point in the Bhagavatam. But this is ultimately we can become so expert in spiritual life. It's possible. We're not there right now. That God can't even he can't even repay us because he's just he says to the gopis, let your own devotion be your reward. That's all I can give you because you have achieved this high level. And they know more bliss than anybody actually in that, but they're not seeking at all anything for their own happiness. They're only seeking the Lord's happiness. But this is such a high standard. But where we're at, we can try and offer something more to the Lord. We can set some foundation. Okay, this is what I'm going to do to connect to you. Um, in ISKCON, um, very popular and very inspiring guru right now is Vaisheshika Prabhu. He's written so many books. He's very popular and very appealable to all types of people, especially the Western folks. But he recommends, and a couple of his disciples had kind of inspired me to do this a few years ago. But to set a goal for, Prabhupada, he has a goal, right, for chanting. And we have to follow certain principles, but that's about it with the goals. But Vaisheshika Prabhu, he also says, and then also set a goal for the books. Set a goal for your reading as well. Every day you should have some little bit of reading and some little bit of chanting, at least a little bit, The more you can do, the better. But just set a goal for yourself and meet that every day. And remember, this is the whole essence of life. This is the point, is to make spiritual advancement. It's not how much money you've acquired. It's not what type of partner you've acquired or what type of career or position you've acquired or, I'll work hard now so I don't have to work hard later. If I sacrifice now, then that's not the system, actually. Krishna wants you when you're fresh. Not like, oh, I'll get to him later. Why are you gonna take him now while you're fresh, while you're fresher at least? As we get older, it gets harder and harder to give ourselves to him. And we're less and less, useful actually. We have a different use, more in wisdom. But while you're fresh now, while you have freshness still in yourself, give whatever you can. So we shouldn't waste our time. Prabhupada is noticing all the magazines and novels and crossword puzzles. And then he's saying, in Western countries, old men retired from active life play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about useless socio-political schemes. Does that sound familiar? Did you ever go on Facebook? What do you see? Oh, this thing. It's, for me, that's primarily what I see on social media. It's just all my parents and their friends and my friends' parents, they're all like talking about the socio-political affairs. Trump did this. And then, and on the other side, Biden, Sleepy Joe, he did this thing. And they're just going back and forth. Like, at least this is American social media feeds, in India, you had Modi and then Gandhi or whatever, they're like this always. What nonsense. What a waste. They're not delivering you from this material world. They don't have the solution to birth and death. Why do people care about these things? Really what it is because they are themselves very, very attached to being comfortable in the material world. They're under the illusion that you can be comfortable in the material world. Who is comfortable in this material world? Any of you? Right answer. No. Why? Because you cannot get comfortable in the material world. It's like setting up a kitchen and a bed and all these things in the bathroom. The bathroom, you go in, you do your business, it's dirty business, and then you get out of the bathroom. And then the material world is compared to the same thing. You go in, it's a dirty place, it's filled with all kinds of lower things. You learn your lessons and you make your way through, and then you get out. You don't try and get really comfortable here. There's no comfort here, actually. You have to do your service. Maybe we got to clean up the place. Do our best to, clean up. That's what you do in the bathroom. You have to try and clean yourself. And then you got to get out. So ultimately, that's our job in the material world. We have to clean this thing properly, ourselves first, and then whatever little thing we can impact, and then move forward. Back to Godhead, as Prabhupada would say. So yeah, what's that? Michael's waving in ecstasy. So this is ultimately what we have to do, and what's wasting our time. Again, prajalpa, unnecessary talking, unnecessary talks. When we talk with people, we could either, perpetuate the illusions of just like, yeah, this political thing happened, oh, rats, or this, weather anomaly is happening again. Can you believe it? Oh, no, I can't. But like, how often can you have these same conversations? When are you going to actually break the chain and be like, there's got to be a deeper meaning to life? Just turn to one of your friends and just talk about something like that. And if they don't want to talk about you anymore, that's okay. It'll take the relief off you. Oh man, at least I can talk about something good. But if they want to talk to you, you can actually help them so profoundly. And actually, it's interesting. In my life now, I started to transition away because at first I was just really into being polite and having all kinds of niceties with people. And so, like, all right, my family actually, something happened. A relative of mine had passed away today, actually, like an uncle of mine. Yes, very tragic. And yeah, so I have to go. I have to leave probably this weekend, something like that. So we probably won't be here Sunday, or one of the days we'll probably not be able to be here, at least a few. And I know I'm going to go in with all my relatives, and they're not all actively practicing Krishna consciousness with me like you guys are. This is mostly who I hang out with, my Krishna conscious family and friends. But it's my duty, and especially actually it's a good opportunity because when people see death, that's when they're the most prone to be spiritual. So it's actually a good service and a good opportunity where I can at least go and instead of talking about sports or what Obama did or what Trump did or what this one did or that one did or Gandhi or Modi or whatever they did, we can talk about something higher. We can talk about something that can actually uplift them, that can actually elevate them and myself. And the best thing is you get preserved, you get saved. So we're running out of time. So this is very important. Jana Sangha is called here, refers to associating with persons not interested in Krishna consciousness. One should strictly avoid such association. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has therefore advised us to live only in the association of Krishna conscious devotees, Bhakti Sanivasa. So what should be the main community we live amongst? Yes, only the devotees. Anyone else is this is compared in the Bhagavatam that you're better off surrounded by poisonous serpents, tigers, surrounded by fire than by materialistic persons. Now, how many of us in our life are surrounded by things worse than fire, ravenous tigers, and poisonous snakes? Many of us, many of us. So we have to be very, very careful. And if we are going to associate with them, we're not trying to take so much association, we're trying to give association, meaning how can I be of service? How can I be of service? And if they're not interested in what you have to offer, then you just say, all right, I'll see you later, and then you just go do what you got to do, and then you move forward. And then when you get back, because, circumstances will happen, you'll get pulled back in all these things. And then you go again and try and be of service. Maybe they're ready to digest a little this time, and maybe they take a little more. And we've seen this with our families. We've seen this with so many. Over the years, more and more is being accepted, more and more is being integrated, more and more they're ready to hear certain things that never they could have heard in the beginning. So like this, just be patient, but you don't go and think, oh, well, I'm so strong. I can hang around to anybody, no problem. No. There's nothing worse for your consciousness than materialistic people. For men, it's this. It's women. Sorry, lady. It's women because this is the most attractive thing to men. And then it's men who are attached to women. And for women, it's the opposite. It's men and then women who are attached to men. These are our greatest, actually, enemies. And if we find ourselves very attached to women and men, and trust me, most of us, that's our attraction and attachment in this world. There's an institution to how to move through that. What is it called? Marriage, yes, maybe, but there's an ashram, a way to take shelter. Grahastha ashram. There's two levels. Householder life can be either, as Prahlad Maharaj says, a dark well in which one cannot get out. This is called grihameti, or household enjoyment, the path of trying to enjoy in the household. And then there's grahastha, which actually is practicing properly under the rules, the regulations, under the guidance of what three things?
Guru,
Yes, sadhu, shastra, guru. This is grahastha. If you follow in this is how me and my wife are finding some success, practicing grahastha. To the extent that we do grihameti, and it happens. It's a shift is easy. Just like that, you can shift. You can do grahastha, 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 and then all right, I finished my duties today. Let's do grihameti things. And then you can go off into grihameti things. But there is a reaction to that. It becomes very detrimental to your spiritual life, especially. So we have to try. If we find ourselves very attracted to and it's natural in the material world. If we're very attracted to the opposite gender, or even the same gender, no problem. The opposite energy, because there's masculine and feminine energies, and the lesbian and homosexual couples as well. There's usually one more masculine, one more feminine, things like that. The energies, they attract each other. So if we're very attracted and this is how we operate, no problem. There's a way to get through this. And this is the ashram, grahastha ashram. Otherwise, avoid that association if you can. You come together like right now and I say, Tate, stay away. Or Kumari, stay away. No, it's not like that. Because you're coming together to do a spiritual service. But, there's a proper way to associate, like let's just say if Tanmay, or either Tanmay and my wife like to go for dates walking around the park together, it would be an inappropriate, arrangement. Yes. I would rather pick on you than pick anyone else to pick on. So, but if that's what, there would be an inappropriate arrangement. But actually, the same would apply for any male and any female, unless there's a higher reason they're coming together, like this. And so ultimately, this is a really valuable thing. Let's see if we can finish this paragraph. One should always engage in the service of the Lord and the association of the Lord's devotees. Association with those engaged in a similar line of business is very conducive to advancement in that business. Consequently, materialistic persons form various associations and clubs to enhance their endeavors. For example, in the business world, we find such institutions as the Stock Exchange and Chamber of Commerce. Similarly, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. This spiritual association offered by our ISKCON movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are joining the society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness. So that's the point of what we do here at ISKCON. That's the point what we do. Yes. What are you doing? Teasing?
He's teasing.
Playing Masti together? Okay. So Masti is like Indian teasing in play. So if you don't know. So that's the point of this Krishna consciousness movement. It's the point of ISKCON. And look what we're doing here. After this, we'll have prasad, and then everyone will be associating. And this gives the opportunity for spiritually minded people who understand the higher purpose of life to get together and work together. And, and all aspects of life can be taken care of, no problem. I know many, there we say a prayer. You might know this prayer. Oh, I didn't say my prayers to the gurus. I'm very sorry. Namo Shtaya Krishna Shtaya Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamini Namaste Saraswati Deva Govardhana Name Visheshan Vadi Pashada Ishtarni. Well, one of those prayers to the gurus that I normally pray, right, is the prayers to the Vaishnavas. Panchakalpa Tarubhishcha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And that prayer means I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnavas, the devotees of the Lord. They're just like desire trees, and they fulfill the desires of everyone, and they're full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. So this is the nature of the Vaishnavas, and actually, you see it. You start really associating. Um, like just when you go, anyone ever go berry picking before? Who here? What kind of berries do you all like here? Ton like strawberries. So I like, what's that? Yeah, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries. There's so many good berries. But you just can't go to any plant that gives the berries, right? You got to find the special ones. Oh, so there's that sweet spot over here. Oh, if you go down this ridge, around this thing, we used to pick raspberries growing up. They grew wild where I grew up. And we actually used to go on the neighbor's lawn and we'd steal all their raspberries. But they would catch us because we were stupid and little kids. We weren't that like sneaky. We should have went at night or something. But anyway, we went 10 in the morning, steal from the neighbors. Um, anyway, but you know what? We knew that the nectar, this tree over here, this fulfills our desires. So actually, there's people that will really fulfill your desires and really help elevate you in life. And it's the devotees. So when you associate with the devotees, everything comes. I mean, I kid you not, everything good in my life came, even when I was like Michael at one point. I was pretty sincere. I was living at the temple. I was, serving as sincerely as I could be. No money, nothing, just doing like whatever anyone needed, whatever anyone asked. It was like brahmachari life. But then at some point, my loans were coming. I was like Tanmay and Piyush, a little worried. The loans are coming, and what am I gonna do? How am I gonna, yeah, yeah. No, we have to address. So I realized I can't just stay. Michael's fortunate because he never got himself in college debt. He never got himself in all kinds of immaterially implicated circumstances like I did. So I realized I had to leave this position. I couldn't just stay in this position. I had to face real life consequences that I made. And ultimately, I left when I found some devotees, and you guys met them the other day, Mayapur Chandra and the Raval gang, the devotees over there. When you guys came to the baby shower, they had a job opportunity available. And at that job opportunity, I was working, I was, making money, I was doing more service, I was still able to deepen my service, but I was and I even had some girlfriend now, and we had plans to even get married and all these things. Thank God that didn't work out but it was there actually that I met my wife. By doing that service, one day, my wife came in. And that the next aspect of my life was ready to launch. But it was only when I was sincerely doing my service. I had to go through a lot of trial and error of not sincerely doing my service before Krishna was ready to let that next thing go. So I started more sincerely doing my service. I actually made a vow 2 weeks earlier. I made a vow to Krishna that I will never date. This was after I broke up with the girlfriend that I had at the time. I'll never date anyone again unless she's fully interested in Krishna. I promise you, I'll never do it again. So I said that, I made that vow. And then 2 weeks later, my wife walked into the door. I was teaching yoga, and there was one thing I really hated when I was teaching yoga, when only one person would come. It would happen like a few times. It was a new program, and I was trying to build it, but only a few times one person would come, and it's always so awkward. Except this time, when just my wife came, then it actually ended up being a very auspicious arrangement that led to more yoga dates and more things. And next thing you know, 9 months later, we got married, actually. It was very quick, very quick. And actually, how did that all happen? through the blessings and the encouragement of the devotees. Actually, my guru, we weren't going to get married so early, but my guru said, no, no, you cannot live like this. Whatever you think you're doing right now, this is not good. You get married. So he really urged us to get married and really pushed us to get married and even arranged the marriage ourselves in India and next himself in India. And we got married very quickly. And that actually, I look back, that was the thing that blessed me and her so much because before that we were, even though we didn't really know because we come from a different culture, but we were inappropriately associating and in a way that really wasn't fully blessed, that wasn't an ashram. But then he forced us into Grahastha ashram, actually. And by that mercy, we were able to make advancement and we were able to actually be blessed by each other's association instead of get pulled into a dark well of sense enjoyment in which you cannot get out, which is also very possible, very, very possible. So anyhow, don't waste your time. You're here at this is the local representation of ISKCON. I have to be very careful now how I label this because we got in trouble with the insurance of the house. They were not liking that we were having programs and things like that. Yes, yes. So we had to kind of rearrange things. So anyway, you're just a bunch of my friends coming over. You're all just like my friends, so we're all like hanging out. But this was the purpose of Krishna Conscious Society, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, is so that people can come and associate with people who are going to help them. And otherwise, you know, what's happening in the world is we usually all help perpetuate each other's illusions. And then they help us get deeper in this illusion, and we help them get deeper in this illusion, and we all go on a merry-go-round of illusions together. And then, you know, birth, death, disease, old age, and next body. And I'll try again, and I'll try again. But actually, this is giving us the path off the merry-go-round and like, all right, let's get out of this crazy amusement park and let's go to somewhere better. I want to go home now. So Prabhupada says, go back home, back to Godhead. You're a spirit soul. This is a crossing place. Prabhupada has given the analogy this place is like a bathroom. No gentleman wants to make their home in a bathroom. You know, you get to use the bathroom and you get out. But my Guru Maharaj is a little bit more softer. He said that this place is like a bridge. You know, it's a place for crossing. So you wouldn't build your house on a bridge. Shivadas is in real estate, and he helped us buy our this, little piece of property in Jordan. So anyway, how many pieces of property you ever sell on a bridge? None. None, yes. That's not where you settle in. And this world is like this. We try to settle into this world. This is the place for crossing. This is the place for making advancement and moving forward towards a destination. Our destination is back to Godhead. Our destination is the spiritual world. Our destination is in association with the devotees. So welcome tonight. We've all made it to the association of devotees. I hope we can continue doing. I've gone 9 minutes over. If there's any questions, urgent, anything, we can end, and if not, prasad. So anything? Food for thought? No kirtan? No, no. It's 7:30. It's done. Oh, we did kirtan heavy beginning. Anything? It looks like what's that? Maybe we can do. Looks like Michael is not realizing we were done. So prasadam might be halted a little bit. Anything? There might be something. This is the way to invoke mercy. Yeah. Actually, and it's the way that you give, like Peter asked a really nice question the other day. And that question, I answered him the best that I could in class. But then I remembered when he left, I remembered so many other facets of the question. And then I sent him a bunch of things. And it was so nice that I got to reread those things, and that got to be spurned up in me, and thanks to Peter's sincerity in the question. So you don't be afraid to, you know, to stimulate a spiritual conversation.
I was remembering the tale you told about the Vashava that went begging every day, and then he didn't get the food that day, and he'd scratch it out on the paper.
Yes.
When the child came, I thought that was pretty incredible. I butchered the tale.
But no, yes, on Sunday. Yes, it's very, very incredible. And when he realized Krishna had come to carry his what he was lacking and prove to him that this verse in Bhagavad Gita is true, actually he wept incessantly, and he was so yeah, he was so heartbroken that he had ever doubted God's presence in his life. So you also, this is very good. Don't doubt, and the Lord is with you. He's helping. Anything else, Michael? How much time do we need?
Pretty much all good.
Okay. So last thing, one more question. It's force. Yeah, that's very difficult. You have any?
I don't know, I was thinking it's difficult to, you were talking about Prajalpa, talking about things that don't really matter and how this can waste your time and others' time. And it's hard because like, especially like me, I have people pleasing nature.
Yes.
So it's like my tendency to like not want to like disturb or like, you know, be pleasing to them. So naturally, you talk about things that aren't so disturbing, and people easily get disturbed by, even you say the word God, or you say talk about spiritual
Yes.
matters or something, they can get threatened. Just so many things can be there. So I have a tendency to just like keep it simple and short, but it just feels like empty,
Yes.
like after the conversation, it just feels like,
Yes.
ugh. Like I just wasted my time, and it like brought me like kind of energetically down. But it's difficult to then,
Yeah.
especially when you have people that are antagonistic or just very like high wired, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's comment?
Huh?
Comment? Is there a question part of it?
No, I mean, what do you do? Like, how do you?
Yeah, how do you do? So it's a good, for me, it helps to understand, the type of person I want to be. Do I want to be someone who tells people pleasant lies? Or do I want to be someone who tells them the truth, even if it might make them uncomfortable? Now, there's a proper way to tell the truth. Is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it helpful? This is in Bhagavad Gita on how to properly tell the truth. But at the same time, you have to tell the truth. If you just don't ultimately tell the truth. So when we talk about mundane things, instead of the absolute truth, what are we giving them? We're perpetuating illusion. That's all we're doing. We're just perpetuating everybody's illusions. So unless we are helpful to them, it's really, it comes back to the spirit of service and the spirit of what type of person do I want to be? Do I want to be, and also what type of person do you want to, what type of energy do you want to associate with? Do you want to associate with the truth, or do you want to associate with a bunch of illusions? And so I mean, it depends, like, we're going to go to my relative's funeral. And it's not like we're all going to start talking about Krishna consciousness and come on, let's do the Tulsi Puja together and all this thing. No, it won't be like that. But you know what? There's a certain level of truth that they can resonate with. So you find what they can resonate with. And we'll talk a lot about Jesus because that's the level of truth that they'll be able to resonate with. Especially that side of the family and dealing with death. That's going to be so much talks of Jesus. So, but that's good. That's good. But now if people don't even want to talk about that, then you've got to find what is the lowest common denominator. What is the one thing I can maybe get them to, approach the truth, Some people you can approach the absolute truth through science. You can approach the absolute truth. There's so many facets of life. Everything leads to Krishna. Everything's connected to Krishna. Just how do you figure out how is that thing connected to Krishna? How can I bring them to Krishna? The taste of water is Krishna. Even in the taste of it says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the taste of water. Everyone drinks water. Isn't water amazing? Like tell everyone how amazing water is. Whatever you could do. but you just don't. The only thing you should not do is just the status quo and just like, yeah, I'm gonna go along with all the illusions, no problem. Like today you were talking with your aunt on the phone. I don't know exactly what you were talking about. But you're talking about motherhood and babies and what to do with babies and there's so many ways like isn't the natural arrangement amazing how the body does this and that you could direct it to Krishna in any which way. Anything in life you can bring to Krishna. It's all Krishna's energy anyway. So anyway, that's what I would say. Um, especially because I observe your people-pleasing nature, and sometimes I get implicated in your people-pleasing nature, and I'm like, oh what's that? No, I don't know
That was in the beginning.
Yeah.
You came in fifth day.
I don't know what it was, but I was just trying to read. But anyhow, yeah, you just find how it's connected to Krishna and do that thing. That's what I would say. Ben, you had something?
Yeah, very, very related. And you kind of answered it now, but I'm like a little bit more specifically. Sita said with like higher strung people. How do you toe the line in a situation where somebody is coming to you and they're convinced that they're happy in a certain way, but like you see illusions and it's in a way where if you're not perpetuating the illusion in some way, you feel like you'll lose the person entirely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you have to be very delicate. It's a very delicate process. Like with Ayurveda, for instance, it's not what you eat that's most important, actually. It's very important what you eat, but it's also how much you eat, meaning how much you can digest. So you have to ascertain, you have to be able to ascertain the person, how much they digest, but at the same time,
Zero.
there's something there. There's definitely not a zero, but it might just be, and ultimately you might have to just reveal something. And if they disagree with it, that's okay. Like a lot of times for myself, I mean, it's very obvious to see other people's illusions. But at the same time, it's less obvious to see our own. And so when we really focus on our own and then we bring that to the table, I find personally I get a much better response when I'm instead of playing the doctor, oh, I'm here to save you, I'm the person who's going through my own illusions and improving my life. And generally speaking, I get a much better response from people when that's that humble mood that we're supposed to cultivate. People really appreciate that and themselves sometimes uh, gravitate towards that, and then they become more vulnerable, and next thing you know, there might be a new opportunity. Like the other day, we had my wife's uncle come and he wanted to look at the house, and actually thank God he did because there was a big whole water leak in the thing. And so but at one point we came back here and my wife had to go and cook. And so it's just like me and her uncle, and it's not like we just hang out, me and her uncle. It's just kind of like we never really did that before. We never just like got one-on-one, just me and him. So I was like, what am I going to talk about? So I found something. He happened to be involved in the 9/11 fighter, and he was in the buildings and going through, and it was very like deeply like traumatizing and things like that. So we were going back and forth with that. And it took some time to build up. I wasn't gonna be like, come on, you gotta read the Bhagavad Gita, everything. But one thing led to another thing, and then when eventually it naturally led to how do you kind of reckon, how do you view the world? How does things like that, how do you view things like that happening? And actually, he told me, and he had a completely different view than I had, right? But no problem. So we just kept the conversation going, and then eventually she was ready with the lunch. He ate prasad, which we were shocked because normally our family members don't even eat prasad. They don't want it, no taste for it. But he ate all the prasad. He liked it, and then at the end, actually, just the where our conversation ended, it kind of ended unnaturally because she kind of called at a certain time. I ended up just giving him the Bhagavad Gita and I just said like, hey, like, what you were telling me, just, and then he revealed a few other things to me that were like deeply, troubling him in his life. And, so I was just like, you know what? This helped solve so many problems for me. And what you were telling me, I don't know how you can, uh, you know, that must be so tough. I was saying to go through that. And like, maybe if you read this, it would give you some answer or you'd be able to appreciate it, get something from it. And it seemed he appreciated it. I don't know, maybe he was just being nice, but he took it. And who knows? Maybe he's read it, or maybe, maybe it's for like 5 years down the road. Maybe it's for his son or something like that. Who knows what it's supposed to be. But one thing that helps me is to not think I'm the doer. Krishna's the doer. I'm just like an instrument. And maybe I'm an instrument and I can be of service to him, or, maybe I'm not. So, but I'm his puppet. Like Prabhupada wrote a famous poem, I'm your puppet, make me dance as you like. He didn't know what to do in this Western world. He had no idea why his guru sent him here. But he just knew that I'm supposed to do this. So that's the same with us. We're supposed to talk about the truth with people. We don't know necessarily how to do it, but we're not like we can't assume that, well, they can't digest anything, they can't take anything. You'd be surprised, if you just try. When we go out on book distribution, you see us, we're talking and it's so awkward and it's so like, oh my God, that every once in a while you're like, yeah. Yeah.
Specific example, we can talk about it.
Yeah. No. So, but if you try a little bit of something, you might get you're not the controller of the result at all. Like if we remember that we can't control anything, and then ultimately we have like a duty to be an instrument. That's what Krishna wanted Arjuna to do, to be in his instrument. And so we'll just do our best to represent Krishna, and you'll use your intelligence how to best do it. Then he'll take care of the rest. And I would, like I said, I was shocked the other day how favorable the experience was with her uncle, that yeah, I was not thinking at all. I was thinking more along yeah, he's not going to appreciate any of this, but he appreciated it way more than I could have thought. And just because we tried, we got a much better result than we were expecting. So if you just try, you may be shocked. Actually, it's an adventure. You'd be like, wow, I can't believe that that works so well. So yeah, just trust Krishna. Krishna will handle it. We're just kind of the instrument to present Krishna, and Krishna, he's the one who's going to act ultimately. So that's how I handle things, by trusting, realizing it's not up to me. I can't do anything other than just try, and then yeah, he does the magic. We're not, we have no magic capacity without him. We just have the ability to be his instrument. So is that helpful?
We're on different pages, but it's okay.
Okay.
It was a bad example.
What's that? Yes, my wife's saying time for eating. Oh, it's the disappearance or appearance day? Disappearance day of a confidential associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Govinda Ghosh. We did something very pleasing to him today, where we sang the Gora Arati on glorified Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't know too much about Govinda Ghosh. I know him, Vasudev Madhava, and Govinda Ghosh were three very enthusiastic kirtaniyas in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intimate associates. And they were very famous for leading ecstatic kirtans. But other than that, I really don't know much. So, but Govinda Ghosh ki jai. May he please bless us. Other than that, Prasad, thank you guys for coming. If you guys don't have books in your life, please get books in your life. And if you do, just keep reading them and keep your spiritual practices. Hare Krishna.